So, y'all want to know who Red John is? Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, my name is Americ from HappyCool, and as you can tell, I'm not in my usual environment. I'm actually out of town, but so many of you wanted me to talk about the Red John description that Sophie Miller was dictating in her notes that I decided, you know what? I love you guys, and I'm always with my Mentalist t-shirt wherever I go, so I'm just gonna talk about it. So here we go. I transcribed everything that was said in that description, and I put it all line by line, and I'm sort of going to go through a few of these lines, give you my analysis, my impressions, and at the end, I'm gonna give you my overall thought on who Red John is and what we can expect, hopefully, in the upcoming episodes when we catch him. Because we're on to you, Red John. We're on to you. Here we go. Mr. Roth came in complaining of a recent issue with agoraphobia. Now this is very interesting. Why would Red John come in complaining of an issue like agoraphobia? He could have picked any other type of issue, phobia, depression, anything like that, but he picked agoraphobia, and I think that's very important, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. He is middle-aged and in good health with no stated prior history of psychiatric issues. Now, some of you already mentioned in the comments that the fact that she's mentioning that he's middle-aged already removes one of the suspects, i.e. Brett Stiles, so it can't be him. But I would actually go even further and say that the fact that she notices that he's in good health might, and I don't mean this to be mean, might actually exclude another suspect, in this case Reed Smith, who is not at the top of his health. So maybe not him. Otherwise, I don't think she would have mentioned he's in good health. Anyways, I know it's thin, but that's what I would say. So, based on that, it's not Brett Stiles and it's not Reed Smith, in my humble opinion. He has no living family, but many friends on which he relies on for company and emotional support. Clearly, for me, that points to his followers. What I also find interesting is why would he mention that? He could pretend to be married with children, but no, he says he has no family except he has a lot of friends that he leans on for support, which, in a way, demonstrate that he needs that somehow, that he needs his followers to be there somehow. This is getting super shrinky over here. Woo! He's well-spoken, good posture, self-possessed. In the waiting room, he sat calmly in one place, needing no distractions, though I note he's an excellent whistler. Now, the interesting part here for me is the fact that he's self-possessed. That means that he seems that he's in control of himself. And that tells me a whole lot. Someone who appears like they have all their stuff together, even when they're going to see a shrink, for some reason really value the appearance of being in control. Now, that could again stem from something else, but if you need to show that you're in control all the time, maybe you're not so much in control all the time. Now, I know some of you are actually paying attention to the whole whistling thing. I think it's a red herring, really. I think everyone can whistle. The fact that the writers decided to mention that and show you scenes of all these actors whistling, I think they're just trying to confuse the issue here. His self-presentation is pleasant, but there are hints of misbehavior and damaged narcissistic personality. Duh, the man is cray-cray and cannot stand when someone speaks poorly of him. I think she saw through the veil of this calm and control. There is a part of him that just doesn't stand when people don't give him the respect that he thinks that he deserves. Yeah, RJ all the way. He says he deals with conflict and adversity easily, though I'm not convinced he's being truthful about this. So for me, this is another one of those moments where if you have to say that you can handle conflict and adversity very easily, if you have to actually say those things, that tells me that it's the exact opposite. That you really cannot handle adversity and conflict very easily. So maybe Red John is not the mastermind that we think that he is. Maybe he's slipping. Yeah, maybe. In fact, much of what he said, though spoken convincingly, did not match what I can only call my instinctive response to his presence, though I cannot point to identifiable clinical behaviors that indicate this. What she's pointing to is that she's clearly uncomfortable when she's around him because what he's saying and what she's feeling are just not meshing, you know? Sometimes you have an instinct about a person, and sometimes they might say or do things that don't mesh with that instinct, and there's a conflict there. I really think that because she's a professional, she might be over noticing certain things, but maybe she's noticing something that everyone is noticing. So if you feel uncomfortable or creeped out by one character, it's possible, and I'm just saying, it's possible that that feeling of creepiness and being uncomfortable is legitimate. And maybe RJ cannot help making people feel uncomfortable. That doesn't narrow it down at all, but it kind of makes you think about who makes me feel uncomfortable the most. Who amongst the suspect makes me feel uncomfortable the most? I sense something deceptive and dark in his emotional makeup. However, there is every indication that his phobia issues are real. Whether agoraphobia or some other phobia remains to be seen. Oh, this is huge, guys. This is massively huge because she's saying that, yeah, there's something off about him, but he actually has a problem. He actually has a phobia. That she's noticing that. And I'm like thinking, okay, so what is RJ afraid of? What is Red John possibly afraid of? And I think answering that will answer the identity of who Red John is. Maybe that's someone who's trying to solve through his crimes, through his evil doings, a phobia that he just cannot deal with. Anyways, it got me thinking, all right, what kind of phobias out there in all the list of phobias could potentially fit Red John? So I went on Wikipedia, and here are 3 phobias that I think could really be attached to Red John. Acrophobia, I hope I'm saying this right, which is the fear of failure. And you guys know that Red John does not like to fail. And the fact that Patrick Jane has been foiling him for so long maybe has been tapping into that fear a lot. I don't know. The second one, philophobia, which is the fear of being in love or falling in love. That would explain so much about the character. If a character like that, who's just so afraid of love and so afraid of falling in love, is trying to shed away his entire life, any feelings of love or any feelings of being in love, and whenever he can't, he just kills, it's possible, it is very possible that that's what's driving this character. And finally, autophobia, which is the fear of being alone. And that also makes very much a lot of sense because Red John likes to surround himself with all these followers and all these people who just love everything he does and everything he's doing in life. So who amongst all these characters seems to be closer to one of these phobias? I don't know. My bet is still going to be acrophobia, which is the fear of failure, because I think Red John doesn't like to fail. And I think he has a fear of failure and he can deal with that very well, which is why when Patrick mocked him, he killed his family because he just couldn't deal with the idea that he was portrayed as a failure. And it's possible that now he's just panicking and just going after Patrick because this phobia is driving that. So it's very possible. I might be literally talking out of my ass here, but it feels to me that the phobia is going to be the key to Red John's identity. And maybe, and this is just maybe, this is just my speculation, maybe it's going to be the key to his undoing. Yet another crazy theory from It's America. But you know what? Enough about me. What do you think of this description? What do you think of my analysis? What portrait of Red John do you think is emerging from all this? Where do you think this is going to go from a storyline perspective? Comment below and let me know. And of course, if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you're new, make sure to subscribe because guess what? I love to talk about the Mentalist and I love to talk about all other kinds of stuff on HappyCool. So make sure to subscribe and join us on this ride. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye. I'm still afraid.